Poaching, a way of life for some Costilla County residents. Poaching, a way of life for some Costilla County residents. This is from apnews.com, written by Ward Marchant, March 26, 1989. San Luis, Colorado, living off the land has been a way of life for generations in Costilla County, the most impoverished county in Colorado where jobs are scarce and low-paying. In the San Luis Valley teems with game. We used to own these mountains all the way from Fort Garland to New Mexico. The people had the freedom to go and hunt for a living and fish and get wood. It's been here for 150 years or more, said Jerry Sanchez of Chama. That came to an abrupt end March 6th when 275 heavily armed federal and state wildlife officers supported by planes and helicopters swarmed through the valley before dawn in a raid capping a 2.5-year poaching investigation. This is 1989, March 26, 1989. That raid happened 20 days prior to this article being published. I woke up and thought that it was an invasion, maybe of aliens, maybe the Russians, recalled Sanchez, and I found out it was our own government. The U.S. Attorney Mike Norton, who coordinated the raid, said that the tactics were to protect agents. 1989, they said feds? There was feds? Federal and state. So 1989, it's Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan came in along with whoever the governor of Colorado was at the time. So U.S. Attorney Mike Norton, who coordinated the raid, said that the tactics were to protect agents. We will not tolerate the theft of the public's wildlife resources. We will use every available legal means to stop this activity. Agents swept through such small towns as San Luis, Chama, and Fort Garland in Colorado, and Costilla, Cuesta, Amalia, and Mora in New Mexico. By the time they were done, 110 people had been accused of 850 violations, including the killings of elk, deer, bear, eagles, and other protected species. The raid also has sparked charges of entrapment, excessive force, and racial bias that are being investigated by state and federal officials. San Luis, population 900, is the oldest established town in Colorado. Its residents trace their origins back centuries to Spanish land grants in northern New Mexico and southern Colorado. Costilla County has a population of 3,700. 36% of them living below the poverty level. Unemployment is 24%, and the average income is $7,600 compared with $13,800 for the state. Federal officials say the poaching was out of hand and they had to stop it. Agent George Morrison, using the name John Morgan, rented a building in Fort Garland from a known poacher and set up a taxidermy shop. He mingled with residents and let them know he was willing to pay for elk and deer hides and carcasses, antlers from freshly killed animals, eagles, and bears. Last year, he moved to Costilla, New Mexico, just south of San Luis, where he continued to buy wildlife items. The move also required Colorado poachers to cross the state line with their illegal game, a federal offense. He handed out flyers offering up to $40 for buck deer capes and $2.50 for bear claws. Those arrested said he paid up to $300 for an eagle, $200 for elk, and $50 for deer. After 2.5 years in which the officials say at least 500 elk, 2,000 deer, and 95 eagles were illegally killed, the federal agents moved in. State Representative Louis Ince, whose district includes San Luis, has gotten 50 calls supporting the arrest and only one in protest. But most Costilla County residents feel the government went too far. I could have taken 6 men out there and done the whole thing without traumatizing every woman and child in the county, said Sheriff Pete Espinoza, who wasn't told anything for his own safety, according to Norton, until the raids were underway. We're not condoning poaching, said Sanchez. It's against the law and people should be penalized. It's the way they handle the situation, the tactics they use, the guerrilla tactics. We're not bad people here. The operation was completely out of proportion, said County Coroner Charles Mondragon, an 8th-generation resident of the valley. The county was terrorized because of the actions of a handful of poachers, he said. Older residents on isolated farms are terrified by armed men crawling across their fields with military-type uniforms on, said San Luis Town Trustee Augustine Jaramillo. Jaramillo. Many of those arrested are claiming entrapment, saying they would not have violated the game laws if the government hadn't created a market. Some said they were openly encouraged by Morgan to kill wild game and eagles. Morgan, who is this Morgan? Galen Butterball, Regional Director of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, said the agent brought only enough to get evidence for each case. Robert Espinoza, a former deputy sheriff, was cited with 33 counts of game violations. He was indicted March 17th on federal felonies of conspiracy, wire fraud, illegal sale of bald and golden eagles, talons, and an elk head. One animal will prove you guilty, said one suspect who spoke on condition of anonymity. They didn't have to go and have someone literally slaughter 20, 30, maybe 40 eagles to come out and try to prove the point that the guy is a poacher. It just takes one eagle to lock a guy behind bars. The San Luis Town Council asked Governor Roy Romer, so this was Roy Romer and this was Ronald Reagan, to investigate the extreme measures. Wildlife agents defeated their cause by creating a market for the purchase of wildlife from unsuspecting victims of entrapment. It said Romer appointed a 4-member state commission to investigate, and U.S. Representative Bill Richardson, Democrat from New Mexico, asked the House Oversight and Investigations Subcommittee to look into the methods used in the raid. Romer was told of the raid beforehand, but said, "I do not know there is going to be that kind of force concentrated in one place." He has refused to judge the way the raid was carried out, but said, "I'm sensitive to the reactions of a community to that degree of intrusion into their lives, that degree of presence. It's a frightening experience." 1989, Roy Romer.